Are you really an expert in working with coordinates in AutoCAD? If yes, be with me till the end and prove it. Let's see. Hello dears and welcome to the episode 8 of Learning AutoCAD 2025 from Basic. In this session, we are going to solve examples about working with coordinates in AutoCAD. So, at first, I will review quickly the ways that we can work with coordinates. Then we will solve our examples. So, don't miss this session and be with me till the end. Let's crush it. Okay, now let's see our examples quickly. The first example is this. Then we will go to solve the other example that you can see here. Let's do the first one, then we will go to the second one. Let's review the ways that we can work with coordinates in AutoCAD. As you remember, the first one was working with absolute rectangular coordinates. In that case that we want to use that way in our dynamic input, we use the sharp sign before adding our x and y coordinates. The other one was working with relative coordinates in rectangular form. In that case, if we wanted to use them, we easily use the numbers in dynamic input because dynamic input intrinsically gets the data and input of x and y directly in relative form. The other one, if our dynamic input was off and we wanted to add in the command line, we could use @ sign to inform the AutoCAD that we are working with relative coordinates. The other one was direct input method, and we used them for drawing horizontal and vertical lines, and it was a quick way. We used F8, the ortho mode, to work directly with horizontal and vertical lines. And the last one was working with relative polar coordinates. In that case, we give the length, but for informing the AutoCAD that we want to give you the information of our angle or rotation, we use tab sign or a smaller than sign. It was a review of the methods that we can use by working with coordinates. Now let's solve our examples together. In here, we go to select our line command, and at first I want to draw it in absolute coordinates. Let's go here. As you can see, this is the same case. Here I gave the coordinates in here as their absolute value. If we consider that here is our region, this part, AutoCAD region, it's 0, 0. So in the length of 6, this point needs to be 6, 0. This point 6, 2 because of these two lengths. We go for in the backward. So it's 2, 2. These are the absolute values based on our region. And this point is 2, 6 because 4 we go up. Then this point is 6, 6, similar x, but the y is 2 plus 4. And here 6, 8, 0, 8, the 0 x, 0x, but the 8 is the height of this, and again 0, 0. Here is a trick. If you want to start with another region, for example, imagine that I will give you an information that easily you can do it anywhere. Now we considered our example to be the region of 0 and 0. Always consider this case, but if they say that start point is, for example, 3, 2, try to add them to your coordinate points. So if, for example, the origin point is 2, 2, here we can say that for this point we can say 6 plus 2 is 8 and 0 plus 2 is 2. So we say 8, 2 is our second point. Now let's solve it quickly. As I told you, now my dynamic input intrinsically is in the form of relative coordinates. Perfect. Now, if I want to work with absolute coordinates, I need to keep shift and number 3 to make active my sharp sign. Now, if I give any number, it will be in absolute coordinates. But as I told you, the initial point, there is no difference between relative and absolute. So I say 0, 0 is my first point. Then I go to the other one. What is the other point? Is 6, 0. Again, I keep the sharp sign, 6, 0. Now I say that the other point is 6, 2. I keep shift and number 3 again sharp sign. Here 6, 2. It's the other case. Now let's do another trick. As you remember, I told you if we turn off our dynamic input, as you can see here, now if I give any value in my command line, there will be in absolute form. So let's easily, without adding any sharp sign, do the rest of our examples here. I say that here the next point is 2, 2, enter. The next point is 2, 6, enter. The other one is 6, 6, enter. The other is 6, 8, enter. The other is 0, 8, enter. And the other is 0, 0. But I say I use the intrinsic command of line, and from here I choose close. It's the shape and our example that you can see we have worked here. How we can dimension them? We will learn them exactly in our future episodes. Now we worked with this in absolute coordinate form. Now let me Control X and let me, for example, put it here and work with relative coordinates. Now, by working with relative coordinates, let me turn on my dynamic input. If, for example, let me turn it off. Now I want to work with relative coordinates, and my start point is again 0 and 0. I told you there is no problem in the first point. I say 0, 0. But here, I want to inform the AutoCAD that I work with relative coordinates. Because my dynamic input is off, the command line gets the absolute coordinates. To inform the AutoCAD that I work with relative coordinates, I need to keep shift and number 2 to active my @ sign. Then if I give a number, it understands that it is relative form. I say 6 in x direction, 0 in y direction. So 6, 0, and comma 0. And the other point, now I want to turn on my dynamic input to increase our speed. So I say the other point that I use now is 0 in x direction, 2 in y direction. I say 0, comma 2. As I told you, in relative, they are based on their previous point. So I don't give the points that are here. I give based on their previous point. Here, for this point, I need to go 4 in this direction, but in y direction, 0 value. So I say, perfect, -0. Why? I told you, if we go to the upside, means that the north or the east, we use positive values. But for the west and south, we use negative values. I say -4, 0. It is this point. The other one is 4 in the y direction, 0 in x direction, 0, 4. The other one is 4, and my orthogonal ortho mode is active. Let me turn it off to make it better for your understanding. Now I say the other point is in x direction, so it is positive, 4, and y in y direction, 0 in y direction. The other is 0 in x direction, 2 in y direction in positive form, so 0, 2. Here, -6 in x direction and 0 in y, so -6 and 0. And the final point is, if I give 0, 0, it's wrong because I work with absolute coordinate. Here is relative. I need to say 0 in x direction, -8 in y direction. So 0, -8 and enter. It's the way working with relative coordinates. So we reviewed how we can work with two of them. Now let's see the third case. Let me delete this one. Now I want to use the way that the direct input method, the quick way of drawing this, and you will understand how quick is this. Now I should turn on my ortho mode. For turning it on, I can use Fn plus F8 in laptop or F8 control. Now I say F8, now it is active as you can see here. Now I again select my line. This time I type L as its alias and enter. I say 0, 0. It's my start point. Now I told you in this method we just keep the cursor in the direction that we want and enter the value. I say in this direction I want to go 6, in this direction 2, in this direction 4, in this direction 4, in this direction 4, in this direction 2, in this direction 6, in this direction 8. Enter. It was the quickest way of working in the case that we work in orthogonal form. Now it was our third way. The last way was working with relative coordinates. Solve this problem, but here I will use the combination of the methods. Why? You will see. Now my ortho mode is active and I say that this time line, enter. I want my start point, be careful, to be an arbitrary point. For example, here. Now I selected this point. Working with absolute coordinate is really difficult for me. So here I can work with relative rectangular coordinates, relative polar coordinates, and the direct input method. These three ones are easy ways to work with. Now I say that because it's horizontal, I say working with quick way. This is 5.5. In this direction, 2.5. In this direction, 2.5. In this direction, 2. I have this. But here, now, because I have an inclined line, I need to use the method of polar coordinates. So I have the lengths, and I have the angle that I can see here. For working with polar coordinates, as I told you, now I give the lengths 2, 8, 2, 8, 4. I want to inform that. I want to give you the angle. For giving the angle, I add the tab key. Now I can give the rotation. I told you the positive is according to the east. So according to the east, if I go 90 plus 45, it's 135. I can say that 135, the value is this one. Now, quickly, I can say 6 in this direction and 6.5 in this direction. Enter. It's my figure that now is complete. So it was all about the ways that we can work with coordinates. We completely understood how we can work with coordinates. So if you have not watched our previous videos, please go and watch them because they will improve your knowledge in working with coordinates. And I want to say congratulations to you because now by solving these problems and also the informations, you are a master in working with coordinates in AutoCAD. Next session, we are going to learn about polyline, the difference between line and also more information. I will wait for you on our next tutorial, and if you liked this video, please push that thumb up and like this video, and also subscribe to our channel to be informed and hit the bell icon to be informed when the new video is uploaded. And I'm waiting for your comments and your ideas for our future tutorials. And also if you have any question, you can add in comments. Thanks for watching. Best wishes. Take care and goodbye.